¿Cómo
Sí,
está?
señor.
Muy bien.
Queso.
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 Queso. Muy bien. Esta noche pues legunes.
Legumes.
El pelo es leche. Está Gustavo. Cha 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 cha. Cha 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 cha. And welcome. Welcome. That was the little bit of Spanish
That we know.
That we know for the Bean Mafia, that we speak for all of our Mexican listeners, not Beaners. Those are everyone else.
That's everyone else. We have a special name for our Mexican listeners. And
Yeah,
that's,
Mexican.
Mexican.
What's up, Bean Mafia? Welcome to the motherfucking special edition Saturday bonus, brought to you by Steve J.
Steve J.
Steve J is
a beaner, just like you.
He is a beaner, just like you. He is not Mexican. He's a white man. This guy.
Did you do some racial profiling on him?
No, I just remember him because he's a top beaner. When he had a kid, he like tagged the Spoil the Beans and like the gender reveal.
I remember Steve J.
Yeah, and then I think he named his kid Spoil the Beans episode 4 Kill Bill. I think volume 1.
Very good, great baby name.
Yeah, I think that's it. J. Obviously.
J.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So that's cool that he named his daughter that. This guy's a top beaner.
Bean man for life.
He's a bean man for life, and he paid for today's episode, which anyone of you can do. If you are new to Spoil the Beans and you want to pay for an episode, you want to get a movie that you're like, yo, I want you to do this movie for Sam, Deric Poston, or this movie for this person. Well, then you can pay for it. $100. Message spoilthebeans@gmail.com. DM us. And if you think $100 is too steep, A, you're fucking being an asshole because you don't have to do it.
You don't have to do it.
B, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do this.
He watches a whole movie. He takes extensive notes.
I soak it like a goddamn sponge.
Then he performs the movie. I don't know if you guys have been watching this podcast, but it's pretty much the whole entire movie.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And then he has to get someone who hasn't seen the movie.
You have to do a lot of things, okay? And then we also have to, we film it, she edits it. You know what I'm saying? This is a in-house restaurant.
Yes.
This is not
We
Chili's.
do our best.
We do our best, baby. We have one place.
You want to talk to the manager? You're talking to him.
You're talking to her. You know what I'm saying?
You want to talk to the owner?
Hello.
You want to talk to the president?
He's in Nashville, but I can call him. He is one call away. But yeah, if you guys want to be like Steve J and you want a movie that you're like, yo, I want Deric to do this movie, fuck yeah. $100, DM me at Spoil. If you don't have social media, then spoilthebeans@gmail.com. Let us know. A lot of people have been reaching out. Oh my God. Like, first off, it's been like 20 plus of you. So like, oh my God.
We love
the
you
list
guys.
is forever long. But we love you and I'll keep doing it, man. I love doing it for you guys. So this is for the Bean Mafia.
Yeah.
You know?
But get them in soon, because the longer you wait, the longer you'll have to wait.
That is true.
There is a little bit of a line now.
Yeah, and we get busy
because
sometimes.
you guys are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only do so many. I can
only film so much.
There's only 7 days in a week.
Yeah, and speaking of busy, San Antonio listeners.
Are you busy?
Are you busy May 13th?
I hope you're not.
I hope you're not, because at 8 p.m., me, the queen bean right here, Samantha Lopez, our good buddy Trey Stewart, and the hilarious Jeffrey G. Burner that you guys see here all the time, who is one of the most unique comedians I've ever seen in my life. If you want to see us in San Antonio, come to the Rock Box at 8 p.m. The Rock Box, 8 p.m. Guys, tickets are online. They're available. Go to rockbox.com, Rockbox on Google. Just type in that location. Go right to their website. Boom. May 13th, you can buy your tickets. We'll have them up on the Spoil the Beans bio. We'll have them up on my bio. So yeah, that's where you want to buy your tickets. If you're in San Antonio, if you're in that Texas area, anywhere in that area, 8 p.m. May 13th at the Rock Box. Come on out. Show the Bean Mafia some love, bro.
Yes.
If you're a Bean, because we have a lot of listeners in San Antonio. If you're a Bean Mafia guy in San Antonio, and you have a month, you have plenty of time, because we're going to be promoting it on every single episode until that show. So even if you're not listening to this one, let's say you're like, oh, I don't like this movie. I don't want to watch this movie. You're listening to another one. And so you get your fucking tickets. May 13th, that's a Thursday, 8 p.m. at the Rock Box. Come out, show some love.
And let us know you're coming.
Let us
Leave
know
us
you're
a
coming.
message. We love to hear from you. And a lot of you we know on social media, and it'd be cool to see you in real life.
Yep. So if you're a San Antonio Bean Mafia person, if you're a Austin Bean Mafia person, because it's only an hour drive, and you were like, yo, I want to see Deric headline, fucking come on out, bro. Come see me do some time. Come see me fuck around. Come see my funny ass friends. Come see Sam the Queen. She's funny as fuck. Guys, come out. San Antonio, May 13th, The Rock Box. Get your tickets online. Or get them at the door day of. Either way, come on out. May 13th, 8 p.m. The Rock Box. Also, before we get into it, Sam,
Yes.
we were talking about him earlier, but guys, we only have one ad today for the bonus, and that's for the president himself. He takes care of us. Salute. He watches over us in our sleep.
He
and
does.
He doesn't diddle us.
He doesn't even touch us.
He doesn't even touch us. He just watches
watches.
over like Captain America that he is. Guys, Darren Bates. Darren Bates. Now, he's a special person. He's an NFL player.
Why
He's
is he
my
so
best
special?
friend.
Yeah, those
He's got
things.
amazing skin, and those are the 3 reasons he's special. And he has a kids.
He's got
There's
really
4 reasons.
cute
There's
kids.
nothing else special about him. Those are the 4 things.
His wife is also beautiful.
5 things.
Yeah.
And all he wants you to do, he doesn't want you to buy anything.
No.
He's not trying to get you some Ponzi scheme.
No. He doesn't want your money.
He doesn't even want your
In
money.
fact, he wants to give you money.
He wants to give you money. And all you got to do, Sam, to get it is what?
Follow him on Instagram.
Follow him on Twitter for the money.
Oh,
But
Twitter
on
for the
Instagram,
money.
Instagram for the love of the game.
Instagram for the love of the
At
game.
West, go to search Darren Bates, Daren Bates, at Westlandson_56, and you tell him the Beans sent you. The Beans sent you.
He'll
Can't
know what
miss
that
him.
means.
He's a huge NFL player. Oh, he'll know exactly what it means. He's the president of the goddamn podcast. He
true.
pays the bills. He makes sure this podcast comes to you guys 2 to 3 times a week. That's on him. So all he wants you to do, go show him some love at DBTray5 on Twitter. That's where he gives away cash. He literally gives away $100 cash prizes. He literally gives away autographed Titans memorabilia, Derrick Henry stuff, Ryan Tannehill stuff.
Sports stuff.
Eddie George, like the dude, sports stuff, how Sam would put it. But really cool memorabilia. He gives it away. All you got to do is go follow him. He's constantly giving away cash, giving away memorabilia. He has a great podcast called The Raw Room.
Raw room.
Available on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, anywhere you're listening to this podcast right now. You can literally hit pause, click over to that search bar, type in Raw Room with Darren Bates. He'll come right up, and all you got to do, hit that subscribe button and give it a listen. Give it a listen when you're not
to
being
Deric's
in.
episode.
Listen to my episode. Start there and then go like, oh, I like this. And he's interviewed.
Explore.
He's interviewed a lot of really cool people. It's a great podcast. It's a good time and it's really chill. And he asks fucking serious questions and it's more of a hang. You know what I mean? It's just a great pod. So go check him out. It's just a good hang. Bean Mafia, I trust that you'll do that. I trust that you'll be at our show May 13th. And I trust you'll show our boy, the president, Darren Bates, some love.
I trust that too.
I do. Samantha Lee, are you ready for this episode brought to you by Steve J? Steve J, you picked a fucking hell of a movie, dog.
I'm nervous.
Sam, how much have I been bragging about this movie since I watched it?
Have you been bragging? You just keep saying, you're not going to be ready for this one.
What do I say, babe?
You're not ready for this. You ain't ready for this.
That's what I keep telling her. Yo, Steve, I keep telling her, baby, you ain't ready for this one. I wasn't ready for this one, dog. This movie today was so good.
Did you see it before?
I never even heard of it.
Oh.
I never even heard of this fucking movie. It is so fucking good. Sam, modern movie. Came out. Let's see when it came out. Hold on. Don't look at the camera. Don't look at this thing. Don't look at the thing. Don't look. Hold on, guys.
You have so little faith in me. It's like, why would I look? The whole point is that I don't know.
That is the whole point. 2018, this movie came out. 2018.
Very recent.
And it is phenomenal.
Are there people in it that we know?
Everyone in it, you know, everyone in it is Sam, A-list.
No.
The leads in this, other than the one guy, the 3 leads in this are A-list, creme de la creme, 3 of not only the most famous, but 3 of the best actors working, I'd say.
Oh, wow. Is it why don't we know about it?
I don't know how. I just didn't hear about it.
Okay.
But before we get into it, before I explain to you this entire movie that you've never seen, that I just watched, and I can't wait to tell it to you, Sam, can you do me a favor?
All right.
Can you tell me what you think happens? Brought to you by Steve J.
Okay.
The Sisters Brothers.
The Sisters
Brothers.
Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's possessive?
Sisters, brothers.
Is it the?
Yeah.
The sisters, brothers. Okay. In 1973.
Holy shit. Keep going. That sounded awesome. I got excited just by the year you said.
In 1973, an Irish woman and an Italian man gave birth to quadruplets. 2 boys, 2 girls.
Ooh. That's really cool. Keep going.
I don't even know if that's physically possible.
It doesn't matter. It sounds awesome. It sounds like a cool movie, though.
2 boys, 2 girls. And that's a lot of kids to have all at once.
Oh, my Lord, yeah.
But for Irish and Italian people, that's pretty normal.
They're ready.
I mean, also, normally they're doing them like one after the other, like rabbit style. So.
Yeah, like how you were.
Yeah. What?
You and your brothers.
No, we were all 3 years apart.
Oh.
But like normally it's like
y'all,
like Irish twins. It means like that they're a year apart.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like literally after the baby popped out, she got pregnant again. So they call that Irish twins.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So they have all these kids. It's 1973. Flash forward. It's 1985. All the kids are in middle school.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I had to think about the math
That's
on
good.
that.
Yeah, you're right. I was like, that's close enough.
All the kids are in middle school. Like one day the girls are all the girls are doing are in Girl Scouts, and then the boys walk home every day by themselves.
Okay.
And one day the boys just go missing. They never make it home.
Holy shit, that got real.
Yeah.
Then what happens?
We fast forward. So there's like a montage of like, this, that, oh my gosh, like looking for them. And there's no trace, no body, no DNA. It's before DNA time because it's 80s.
Every parent's literally biggest nightmare of all time.
Biggest nightmare. And there's just nothing. And then we fast forward and the girls are in college. And you just, we follow them throughout their lives and like how this tragedy like shapes who they are. But also they have such a connection in the fact that they're like quadruplets, because you know how like twins have connection. Mm-hmm. But then there's like this missing part because there's 2 other parts of the connection. And so it's about that and how, and like all the tragedy that happens in their life because of that. And then the girls like kind of like separate because they get in a big fight, but it's like deep down. Like,
what about the other brother?
No, both brothers went missing.
Oh, both brothers went missing.
Oh,
so the sisters have to deal with this.
That's why it's called the Sisters Brothers.
Oh, that's fucking fucked up, Sam. That's your movie?
Well, I mean, you didn't really give me a lot to go off of.
I mean, of course, that's the whole point of the podcast. You're not supposed...
I know.
Unless you do it. Sometimes you have heard about the movie. But that was a really good movie you just described.
Yeah. And then like
really
also
good.
it's all taking place it's like a period piece. So like all this stuff's taking place in like the 90s because these are like Gen Xers.
Damn, bro. But these sisters went through it.
Oh, yeah. And then one of them takes her life. And then it's just one girl left. And that's how the movie ends.
Oh, my God. So it's like fucking A Star is Born?
You told me I wasn't ready for the movie.
Yeah, but Jesus, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean like that. I didn't mean like you're not ready to see these children die. I mean like it's really good.
Well, we never see the children die, and then the other ones die when they're adults.
Damn, that's crazy. Oh, fuck. Well, no. I'll say this. No, you got 0%. I mean 0% right. You didn't get anything right at all. You got absolutely nothing right, but your movie is really good.
Oh, thank you.
That's fire. That's just fire as hell. Do you want to hear the Sisters Brothers?
I definitely want to hear it.
Title's pretty crazy, huh?
It is crazy. It seems like a serious film.
Yeah, it's like also, how did it slip by us?
It's not a serious film, is it?
No, I'm not saying
Because your
anything.
reaction is like, oh.
No, I'm just saying, how did it slip by us, that title? The title's crazy. How did that slip by me?
I mean, it sounds vaguely familiar, but I think I'm thinking of like the skeleton or what, what was that Kristen Wiig movie where it's like skeleton siblings or
Skeleton Siblings. What a title.
It was something like that. Skeleton something. I never saw it, but it was on Netflix for a while.
Yeah. No, this is also when I say the actors in it, that's how you're gonna be like, how did this get by me?
That's all people I like.
Sam, I just said 3 of the biggest actors.
You said biggest, but
yes, and you love all 3. Okay. I mean, not love, but I mean, we've talked about all 3 a lot. They come up, they just come up in casual conversation. You ready?
I spilled tea on myself.
You spilled tea on yourself?
Yep. Started off the podcast really well. It's okay. I think I can recover.
Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Texting about shows.
Oh my gosh. This is like if he was on a date with you guys, all the Bean Mafia, and he's just texting right before he's about to tell you like the entirety of Django. Rude. Deric. But actually it's good because more shows is good for all of us. Mm-hmm. And good for you guys because then you can see us.
All right. I'm sorry about that, Bean Mafia. I'm done. He knows. I'm coming. Guys, Sam, are you ready for the Sisters Brothers?
Yeah, let's do it.
Steve J, thanks again, buddy. I'm glad. Sometimes you Bean Mafia, you put me on a movie. Because a lot of times you be telling me that I put y'all on a movie. Nigga, sometimes y'all put me on a movie. I would have never watched this movie or even got around this movie, sniffed this movie, if it wasn't for our boy Steve J. That's how British people clear their throat.
They're always clearing their throat too.
Yeah.
Does anyone ever really need to clear their throat? Like
occasionally, like once in a blue moon, the bluest of moons.
But it's more often it's just done for effect.
For a British attention. Credits roll. Mm-hmm. You hear the sound of like nature in the background. It's like, water dripping, trees in the wind, birds. Oregon, 1851.
Oh, that's why, because when I gave you a date, you were like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what the fuck? Because it starts just like that. But yeah, you were way off year-wise.
Yeah,
this
like 100 years. Mm-hmm. At least. More, 150.
You remember the Game of Thrones episode that everybody loves? The only good episode, the only great episode that they had in the last season, and one of their best episodes I think they ever did, though, the Night King episode.
Oh, where she stabs him with the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That episode. But remember the beginning, how dark it is?
It's so dark. And then all the what are they called?
Night White Walkers.
No, but the people with the...
Dothraki.
All the Dothraki go with their little
with their light up, and
lights.
then it just...
It's really beautiful, actually.
It is. And then the way they just... And it goes back to that dark. That shit was fire,
jeez.
Son.
It's like, this is the end.
God, that should have been the last episode.
That should have been. I don't even know why they fuck around.
Yep, 3 episodes.
Just kill them all off.
Yep.
People would have been more satisfied with that.
Oh, man. But also the fact that was episode 3 made me go, oh, this last season's about to be off the chain.
And it was kind of
then
lackluster.
Beyond lackluster. That's not what we're here to talk about. Sam, my point is, you remember how dark it was.
Don't ever get us talking
about Game of Thrones. It's hard to stop. That last season.
We gotta do an episode on that.
I have to, because Sam, I say it a million times and I'll say it again. It should have been the greatest show of all time.
It really should have.
It should have been no question. Like we all agree that this is the greatest show of all time. And now people are still like, oh, Seinfeld or Friends or
Breaking Bad.
Even though season 7 we were all like, oh, this is the greatest show of all time. Mm-hmm. No questions asked. Season 8 up to that episode, greatest show of all time.
I really feel like it was their fault.
Yes, it was.
The writers really took it for granted.
Yes, they did. They just ended it.
Mm-hmm. And that's something they're going to have to live with forever.
Oh, yeah, that they ruined what would have been the unanimous greatest show of all time.
And then they went ahead and, ruined the Star Wars franchise?
Yeah, they did that too.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you guys suck balls. But good first job on the Game of Thrones stuff.
You started out really strong.
And by started, I mean for a long time.
Yeah, but in the comedy world, even if you started out strong in your set, if you bomb at the end...
If your last joke sucks, man, it's hard to forget it. So it's the reason I brought that up.
Why did you bring that up?
I know I brought it up for a reason. It is super dark. A lot of scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
Like dark, like you can't see, like, because it's like, oh, they wanted you to feel like, yo, this is a Western. This is an 1850 something.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is that time. So it would be dark. If it's night, nigga, it's dark. Mm-hmm. You hear, hey, this is the Sisters Brothers. Commodore sent us. He's like, hand something over, and the rest of you will let you live. You still can't see nothing, right? Then just a shootout. Pow, 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 pow. You see gunfire, right? And then guy's like, shit. And you hear one guy go, man, I can't fucking see shit. Pow, pow, pow. And then you see a dude go. A dude looks over at this other dude. It's still dark. You just kind of see their silhouettes. And he goes, you ready? And he goes, yeah. So you see these two dudes running the house, and they kind of split, and they go to the house. Bam, they kill a motherfucker. Bam, they have these small little candles. Bam, they kill up another motherfucker. They walk up on a dude. Bam, shoot this one dude in the head. Like, these dudes are bad. Whoever they are, like, oh, they're badass.
Bad guys.
You see this one guy try to escape by jumping on the roof, and he lands and, like, breaks his leg. And as he's crawling, you see one of the dudes walk out the house and just walk up on him. Bam, shoots him in the head. While all this commotion's going on and all this shooting, you hear, oh, shit, the barn. And you hear, what, the barn? And they turn. When they turn in slow motion, and it's the only, it lights up the scene, you see a horse running out the barn on fire.
Oh,
the barn got set on fire during the shootout.
Oh.
Like one of the bullets must have, you know what I mean? So you see a horse running out, and then you see one of the two guys run into the barn. And he's like, no. And then you hear, Eli, come on, don't be stupid. Eli, let's go. They're just fucking horses. I gotta save them. Eli! You see the guy run into the thing, right? Mm-hmm. Cut to, you see the two brothers. It's like the after dusk of the shit being on fire. Mm-hmm. And you hear one of the guys go, well, hell, man. How many you think we killed? And then one of them's like, I don't know, 6, 7 horses. And then the other brother laughs. He's like, well, damn, well, we fucked that up pretty good. The sisters' brothers. Mm-hmm. All right? The next day, it's in the morning, we see who the brothers are. Mm-hmm. Charlie is one of the sisters' brothers, played by the Joker himself, a Mr. Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin.
And he talks to
Did you know that he used to be Leaf?
Leaf, I know. I've heard.
I've brought that up several times, I think, actually.
But Sam, he's the lead in this.
He's the lead.
He's the one of the sisters' brothers.
How does he look? Does he look like a cowboy, like physically? Like, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, his body, like he's got some weight on him.
He's got the longer hair.
Yeah, he's got the little bit of the longer hair. Mm-hmm. Okay. And he looks kind of crazy a little bit, you know. But he always kind of looks kind of
old.
Not old. Looks like Joaquin. I mean, he looks older. Looks like how he does kind of in the Joker, except with more weight and just
that's what I meant by. I guess that's what I meant by old, because looks really old in the Joker.
But he's got weight on this one. Like he's got gut and like, you know, he looks like a cowboy.
Yeah.
You know, his brother, Eli's sister. So he's Charlie's sister. His brother.
Sister is the last name.
Sister's the last name. The sisters' brothers.
Whose last name is Sisters?
Crazy, right?
Where does that come from?
Sam, the other brother, Eli, played by the legend, Mr. John C. Reilly.
No.
Yes.
What?
They're the brothers.
No.
I told you. You're just like,
together?
Wait a minute. I know.
I would never in my life imagine them being in a movie like that together.
A Western? A shootout Western?
It just doesn't seem like something that would ever happen. Like it. I don't know why. That's crazy. That's amazing.
I told you it was two leads where you're like, what?
How do we not know about this?
How did we not know about this? And they're like on the cover of this cover.
Did you look at the how much money it made? Maybe it wasn't.
I didn't look at how much money it made.
Box office hit. Because also Westerns don't do well normally in the theater.
Some do. Yeah. This one, huge budget, $38 million budget, only made 13 mil. So this was a tank.
Ooh, that's actually really rough.
86% on Rotten Tomatoes though.
Wow.
And I mean, it's good. I get it. Why? It's fucking good, dude. I mean, those two actors, you don't think it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
They're both real actors. It's like, it ain't like John C. Reilly's just like, no, he's a character actor, bro. Mm-hmm. Like he's so good. He is amazing. I
still haven't seen that Laurel and Hardy movie.
No, you keep telling me to watch it.
Yo, it's really good. And I know that's not your, I mean, I'm not really into Laurel and Hardy either, but the life experiences that they went through is really interesting as from a comedic standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Homeboy can act, man.
He can really act.
He's so funny, but it's like people are like, oh, he's comedic. First off, that's the hardest acting. So to be able to do that is the fact that he can be that funny and like hang with like Will Ferrell and whoever the fuck else, let you know like, oh, this nigga can act, bro. Because he can also do these kind of movies, like, you know, Martin Scorsese movies and all kind of shit. So
yeah, there's way more comedic actors that transition into dramatic actors
than the other way around. That's why we all loved it when we saw Robert De Niro in Meet the Parents, because
He's
it was
great.
like, whoa, look at this side of him.
Yeah.
You know?
He's super strong.
He's so funny too. It's like, oh, he's funny. So the next day we see our brothers, and they go see this guy named the Commodore, right? To go get drinks. Charlie is the one who goes and like does all the talking. Eli kind of waits back. Charlie's Joaquin. Okay? He comes downstairs, and Charlie comes back down, and he's having a drink with his brother. They clearly like are feared around the town. So you can see it. Like people are like, that energy of like, oh, the sister's brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Commodore, Charlie tells him like, hey, so the Commodore wants me to run point on the next job. And Eli is like, you know, like,
Why?
yeah, exactly. Like kind of, but also like a little bit of like, fuck you. Why are you getting so buddy with him and you got to go talk to him and like all this shit? And he's like, hey man, look, I don't know. But the job is we go south, we find this guy named Morris. And then the guy's like, oh, Commodore wants us to find John Morris? He's like, yep. He's like, why? He's like, well, apparently the Commodore is after some prospector. So our mission is to find Morris, so our mission is that Morris is going to find this guy named Elliot Warm or whatever. That's who they're looking for. The Commodore's looking for. Morris is going to find him, hold him. We'll meet up with Morris while Morris is holding him, and then we'll finish the job. And he's like, okay. Like, all right. You know, because like they work for they're the Commodore's guys.
Yeah, like his henchman.
Yes. This other guy, this Morris guy is like.
He's just another contractor.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, hey, man, I'm not going to deliver him to you, but like this Morris guy's like, I'll hold him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You guys got to come get him.
Okay.
So they're like, all right. And that's what the Commodore wants us to do. So he's like, okay. And he's like, yeah, well, we're going to need new horses. They're just kind of arguing like brothers. You see, there's these sweet shots and long shots, almost like it's a Tarantino movie, of them like talking and the dialogue, and they're arguing, but they're close. It's showing you like, oh, they're close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're bickering, but like,
they're brothers.
these are two dudes who also, they spend all their time together.
Yeah.
It ain't just brothers like, oh no, they're like, this is like husband and wife kind of, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Where like, oh, this is a deep kind of like, oh, they're together.
Yeah.
You know? Like they
Their
cut each other's
souls
hair
are
and
bonded.
everything. Their souls are bonded. That's a good way to put it. Like when you see like they're cutting each other's hair, it's just like real sweet shit like that. You know what I mean? And they're grown though. They're like in their 40s.
Yeah, but it's the olden times.
Yeah, it is the olden
They
times.
would have done that.
The shots in this movie are amazing. Just beautiful shots of them riding across the plains. You know what I mean? These of America, like these gorgeous shots in Oregon. So you're like, oh, you can imagine just the landscapes are beautiful. So Eli finds out that apparently the guy they're going after stole from the Commodore, and you can tell kind of Eli's kind of like, just by the way his attitude is already, you can see he's kind of over this life.
Is he the older brother?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the older brother. Wow, yeah. I was going to say that comes up later, but yeah, you called it already.
Yeah.
Why do you say it makes sense?
It seems like it would make more sense that the older brother would be over it before the younger brother.
That kind of lifestyle.
That kind of lifestyle, and you probably have a sense of responsibility for your sibling, so it's not even just for yourself, it's for them.
Like how long
Whereas
are we gonna
the
do this?
younger will not have that, doesn't have that same feeling.
Younger is also probably a little more like, oh man,
we're killing it. Why wouldn't we keep going?
100%. So, he's like, oh man, I don't think we should, have to do this that much. And then Charlie's like, oh man, I think we have to because this guy's in the wrong. I mean, just because, he works for the Commodore and the Commodore's rich doesn't mean people should just be able to like steal his money and whoop. And then you see Eli kind of gets mad. Like, why are you defending this fucking asshole that we work for? Like, fuck him. Like, he doesn't care about like anything. He cares about money just like anyone, and then he's like, well, he deserves the right to hire men to protect his fortune. Like, and he's like, so that gives us the right to do what we're doing? He's like, no, it's all bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Eli's coming from that perspective. Like, no, this is still bad.
Yeah.
Like, I get that this guy stole from him, but us going to do what we're about to do to him
doesn't make it right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas the other brother's like, well, they're arguing about it. Like, a lot of the movie, it's a lot of that kind of dialogue. That's why, these actors are so good, though. You can tell whoever the director is like, I got to let him just go.
Yeah.
So they argue more shots of them riding across the plains trying to meet this Morris guy. Okay? The next day, they travel. They kind of talk about their father a little bit while they're talking, and you find out that they're like, there's some resentment there with his father, but the father's the one who taught him how to get shit in blood. Like that's what the gift he gave us. Like that's how they, remember when I told you seen him in the beginning of the movie, like, oh, these dudes know how to handle themselves.
Yeah.
a few miles south. Right,
It says that.
Comes across the screen like it goes
Yeah.
cut to black a few miles south. This is where they're going to meet the Morris guy. All right. You see a man watching this carriage from a distance, and he's taking notes. It's our other lead,
There's another lead?
a Mr. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jakey G?
I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yo, I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
Sam, I told you 3 of the best actors working. Did I not say that in the beginning?
I don't understand why Jake doesn't get more roles. I mean, he gets a ton of roles.
He turns them down, I think.
He gets a ton of roles. I'm not saying he doesn't work. He has tons of roles, but I'm surprised he's not in more like.
He just did Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
He was the villain and he was the
That's
lead.
a good point. I still think he should get more. He's just so good.
He's great.
He is, and he's
Prisoners,
people just
Nightcrawler.
He's overlooked sometimes, I think.
He is overlooked.
Well, his kind of class, that age group of actors is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it was him and Heath. Mm-hmm. You know, he's in that era. But no, I think he's had a phenomenal career. I think he's gotten more picky and choosy as he's gotten bigger.
He's definitely more choosy.
Because now he's such a huge name.
I mean, and he's a child actor. He's been working forever.
And he's great. But he's our other lead in this.
And he's so handsome.
So handsome. And this, he's got the cowboy look, though. But all 3 of these actors, that's why I like them. They're all character actors. Like
they really are.
They all will dive into character. It ain't like they got 3 just good and famous people. It was like, no, they got 3 of the best actors, I think, that are working.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to like, they're not just leads. These are all character guys. Even though they all can lead a movie.
They can all lead a movie, but these guys, they know how to break down a role.
They will get into the role.
Yeah, and really live it.
So you see him watching this guy and he's following him into town and he's journaling and you hear the voiceover of what he's journaling. Okay? And you know who he sounds like when he talks? You remember when our boy in Inglourious Bastards, Fassbender, goes, well, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out speaking to kings.
Yeah.
He sounds like that.
He's like British?
No, he's not British. He sounds like, or I guess the homeboy from the Princess Bride movie, how he talks in just this fancier American dialect.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so he's a Yankee.
He's a Yankee.
Okay, so it's like this old-fashioned Northeast kind of.
Whereas the Sisters Brothers are country cowboys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
But that's what. But the dialects of like, oh no, this guy, he sounds all proper, a little like that.
Yeah.
But it's Jake Gyllenhaal. But you know, he's doing it. Like, you know.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to listen to him. It's his voice.
Yo, so he's like, it's May 15th, Oregon. The gold rush has made the detective's job much easier. He's a detective. He goes, when you look for women, a man, horse, or dog these days, you just follow the gold. Then you'll find what you're after. You see the guy that they're all looking for. His name's Hermit Warm, like Elliot Hermit Warm or whatever, right? Elliot Hermit Warm. You see the guy like unloading on this carriage, 5'6", lean, dark skin. You see the guy. He's the only like other lead in this movie. The Warm guy.
Wait, is he a black guy?
No, he's like a white dude, just darker skin.
Like a probably Italian or Greek.
Yeah, something like that.
Greek.
Italian or Greek or something like that. No friends. The man has no friends, no baggage, no money. You just see him watching him and he's writing all this down, right? So, cut to the next day. You see the sisters get to that town. They're going through it and they're looking for the guys. And they hear, the guys are in Myrtle Creek, Oregon. That's where the guys are. They get to the town over and they hear that so the town they're at, they hear Myrtle Creek is like one town over.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And Eli's like, all right, cool. And he starts talking to the guy. And the guy introduces him to the idea. I thought this was a cool scene because it didn't have anything to do with anything. But it's like, damn, this would have happened at one point.
Yeah.
He introduces Eli to the idea of the toothbrush.
Whoa.
Like how they just started using these things. You should try them. Like, and he's like, what is it? And he explains to him what it is and what it does. And you're like, damn, it's a cool scene because you're like, oh, yeah, that would have happened at some point.
I just don't understand how they got by without it.
Right?
Because now it's like we can barely get by without like flossing our teeth. So it's like, well, how were people even like, I guess people were dying younger.
Yeah, they were.
Your tooth health is very connected to your everything health, apparently.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Damn, bro. But yeah, that shit's crazy. That at some point a nigga would have been like, what do you mean? What's a toothbrush? You know, and the dude has to explain it to him. Like, he's like, what do you do with it? He hands it to him and he's like, so you put this little chemical on your teeth and you run it around your mouth and you brush, for like a couple minutes and it makes your, it makes your like teeth stronger and your mouth healthier and it makes your breath fresh. And he's like, you see Eli, he's like, yeah, like that's interesting. And he gets it, right? So he goes back to the room and you see him like there's instructions on how to do it, and he's reading the instructions and he's trying
That's
it.
so cute.
And then he does it, and then it's such a cool scene. And then he smells his breath. It's the whole shot, like the whole scene is just this. It's very Tarantino. You're like, huh? And then he's like,
So what's he using to brush his teeth with?
Some weird thing, some kind of chemical thing that they gave, like some kind of paste.
It must have just be baking soda.
Yeah, some kind of whatever it was, but something that clearly worked.
Wow.
So that night while Eli is asleep, he wakes up and he hears shooting across the street at the bar, and he's like annoyed by it. And he looks over and he sees it's his brother, and everybody's running out the bar, and he's like, "Oh, y'all don't want to play with Charlie's sister? Oh, y'all don't want to play with Charlie's sister?" And he's just fucked up. So you see, like, oh, okay, you start to see, like, oh, Joaquin Phoenix is the crazy one. There's always one.
Hothead. We said that. What was the other Western we just did where there's
Hell or High Water?
Yeah,
and it's same kind of brother, same vibe.
But I thought the other was
they were way younger. They're older in this one.
Okay,
they're older in this.
Yeah,
you can tell they've lived a little longer. But the same kind of situation, which is funny.
And Hell or High Water, remind me, was what's his name?
Chris Pine?
Yeah, was he the older one?
No, he was the younger one.
So it is a slightly different situation.
It's a different situation. You're right. But the brothers in the Western, I was like, oh, man, why does this feel familiar? It's like, oh, we just did a Western about brothers.
Yeah, go back and watch Hell or High Water as well if you like Westerns.
If you like Westerns, you've never seen it, oh, my God, I'll blow your mind with that movie. Go watch Hell or High Water for real.
It's intense. It was really good, actually.
Such a good one.
It's probably one of my favorites we've done.
One of my favorites I've done. I mean, unbelievable movie. So the next day they go to ride, and Charlie, Joaquin Phoenix, he's so fucked up. Can't get on his horse. He's so hungover. You know what I mean? Eli has to help him. And as Eli's helping him, you see Joaquin Phoenix, he's so good. He's muttering, "Don't you judge me. Don't judge me, brother. Please. Please don't judge me." You know what I mean? Like, and he's just like, "Oh, just come on." Like, and you can tell he deals with this all the time.
It's
you know?
like, I don't even want your...
I know you're going to say something. Just don't. Just let me.
Let's get through this.
I'm in such pain. I know. Mm-hmm. Also, when you're in pain like that, it's like, dude, I know.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. That's why you don't have to say anything. So, cut back to our boy Morris, Jake Gyllenhaal. May 17th. I have traveled nonstop. He goes, he's writing. And as he's writing about, what he's seen following this guy, our boy, Mr. Warm, walks up on him and goes, excuse me, sir. He's like, hey.
He also has a voice like that?
He just also sounds educated, too.
Educated.
Like from that area. And he goes, I saw you in the town at Myrtle Creek the other day, and just wanted to say, I saw you in town with me the other day, and now you're in this town. I just want to say, hey to you again. Are you headed to San Francisco? And he's like, no, Jacksonville. That's what our Morris says. No, I'm headed to Jacksonville. And he goes, oh, okay, what about you? And then Warm goes, I'm heading to San Francisco. And then our boy's like, oh, for the gold, huh? And he goes, yep, you better believe it. Uh-huh. He's like, oh, like many others. It's quiet. And then the Warm guy looks at Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal's kind of staring at him. And Warm goes, sir, most people, when they say good day, their smile drops once the person walks away. But I've been watching you. And you, when you say good day and the person walks away, you keep smiling. You actually enjoy conversing with others. And then you see Jake Gyllenhaal kind of go like, damn. Mm-hmm. He goes, I've never noticed that before. You want to join me for lunch? Cut to them eating and chilling, and they're getting to know each other and shit, right? And you see Mr. Warm tell Morris, the people that he's traveling with, he doesn't really feel safe and all this shit, right? And he thinks they're maybe trying to steal from him. And Morris is like, well, you can't have that. Well, I'm heading the way you're heading. We'll go together.
Okay.
Right? So Morris, who's writing these journals, he writes a letter to the sisters. And he lets them know, hey, this Mr. Warm guy, I'm traveling with him now. I've made his acquaintance. He thinks we're friends. I will hold him until, you guys' arrival, and then I'll hand him over to you. Hey, Jeffrey.
Hi, Jeffrey. You scared me.
Jeffrey scared us. And then he said,
so horrifying.
All right. He goes, and I'll hand him over to you at the secluded place. At a secluded place. We see Eli reading the letter out loud, and it's got all these kind of fancy words. And you see Charlie getting annoyed with it. He already doesn't like this. He's like, I just don't like how he talks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cut to them following on horses, beautiful scenery. Told you, long shot. It feels like a Tarantino, but it's just like, oh, this is drawing out. Like, Django, you have always been a friend.
Do they have cool music like that?
Oh my God, all the music's amazing.
Oh, great.
So at night, we see our homeboy trying to sleep. It's like Eli trying to sleep. Charlie's like crying in his sleep. Joaquin Phoenix like crying. Eli comes up and he tries to wake him up. He's like, Charlie, Charlie, are you okay? Charlie. And then Charlie goes, peekaboo. And he's like, God damn it. And then they both laugh. And he's like, God damn it, man. I really believed you. And then like you just, like, I mean, it's genuine. Like, they're laughing, right? Later, Eli's actually asleep. He's passed out.
Yeah.
His mouth is open. Sam, this big-ass spider crawls up his chest, crawls up his neck, into his mouth. And he's like, and then he keeps passed out. All right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that like one of your biggest nightmares ever? I know it is for me.
Bugs in any of my orifices is my biggest nightmare ever.
Of all time.
Ears.
Oh my God,
Nose,
ears.
Mouth, sexual parts.
Oh, the sexual parts.
All are like a top fear. It's like that and dying like buried alive. Those are the top 2 fears. Although the bugs one is much more likely. And has happened to me.
The bugs one is a little more likely. So.
Oh God, Deric.
I know it's scary.
Wait, so is that just something that happens, or is it relevant to the plot?
It happens. All right. Fade to black. We see our boy Morris. He's traveling with the guy, and he looks at our boy Warm, and he goes, "You only have one bag, sir. A little interesting for a man going to San Francisco to prospect gold, you know." Mm-hmm. And the guy goes, "I don't need any equipment." And Morris kind of laughs, and he goes, "Really? You don't need equipment?" And the guy goes, "You know, every other prospector, that's their biggest fear: the equipment, the hard labor. You have to have luck. That's what they all focus on. Those 3 things." He said, "You know, those things. You know," he goes, "the equipment and the luck." He goes, "I found a 3rd way." And Morris kind of goes, "Huh, like, okay, whatever." And then our boy goes, Warm goes, "Oh, you don't believe me?" He goes, "That's fine. Usually people don't believe me, but when they do, that's when they want to kill me."
What?
And Morris' eyes kind of get big because he knows that there are people that want to kill this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
He's kind of like, "What's going on here?" And he goes, "Well, what's your idea?" And the guy goes, "You know what I do for a living?" Warm goes, "I'm a chemist." And Morris goes, "Okay." And he goes, "So what's your way to find gold?" He's like, "So you have a way to find gold?" He goes, "Yeah, I do. It's a formula." And Morris is like, "Oh, abracadabra, eh?" And he's like, no. It's more like a divine substance. And then he says the chemicals that they are. And Morris thinks about it for a second. And he goes, "Wait a minute. And you mix that into the river?" And the guy goes. And Morris thinks, and he's like, "As a man of science, have you ever tested this? Is this a theory or does it work?" And Warm goes, like, real big, and nods. Doesn't say anything, but like, yo, this is real. Mm-hmm. Like, I got some shit, bro, that's going to change the universe.
Yeah.
Like a way to find gold. You know? So the next morning, we see our boy Charlie. He wakes up Eli. Mm-hmm. Eli, you know, you don't see him. You just see Charlie go, "Oh, shit." And Eli goes, "I don't feel good." He's completely swollen.
Oh, my God.
Yep. And he's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Damn, what happened to you, bro?" He's like, "You're all swollen. Holy shit." And he's all fucked up. And Joaquin's like, "Well, can you sit in the saddle?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm freezing."
Aww.
I know, right? Cut to them riding. They're in a horrible rainstorm. He's all in pain. He's all swollen. They finally find a place to lay. Eli looks, he's just like, just breathing like that. And he goes, "I'm tired, Charlie." And Charlie's like, "I know, brother." He's like, "No. I'm really tired, man." He goes, "I know. I'm here." So he has like crazy dreams that night, right? Of like kind of people getting murdered and shit. Mm-hmm. And then he wakes the next morning. When he wakes the next morning, Charlie is eating with his shirt off, like crouched down. Yeah. "Morning, brother." There's a dead bear behind him. Eli's like, "What the fuck? What the fuck happened?" Eli's throwing up too because he's still sick. And he's like, "What happened?" He goes, "Oh, well, this gentleman decided to wander into our camp last night. Got your horse real good. That's what woke me up." You see Eli walk up. His horse's face is all fucked up.
Oh, no.
I know,
but it's alive?
It's alive, but the bear fucked him up, though. He got him.
Oh.
You know? He's like, the horses woke me up. And then so Charlie, he's eating all casually. Eli's still throwing up sick.
Yeah.
Right? Jacksonville, Oregon. Okay? We see Morris. He's heading out his hotel. And he goes into town. He's looking for something. When he comes back, he looks in his bag, and his handcuffs and his gun is gone, and his diary's gone. He's like, what the fuck? He turns. Warm
stupid.
Warm has the gun in his face.
Yeah.
And he goes, back up. You back up right now. You don't say anything. Get back. And our boy Morris has his hands up. He throws the cuffs on the ground. He's like, face that way. Put them on. Morris puts one on his left hand. He goes to put one on the right hand, turns really fast, grabs the gun, bam, knocks the dude out.
Whoa.
Because Morris is a fucking badass.
Well, yeah, he's a bounty hunter.
And you can see the other guy's just a scientist. He's all nervous with the gun. You know what I mean? When our boy comes to, he struggles. And he's like, he's all tied up. And Morris is looking at him. And he goes, if I take that off your mouth now, are you going to be quiet? And our boy nods. And he takes it off. The whole movie's in that dark. It's barely you can see anything. It's just silhouettes. It's so dark. And then it's quiet. And the warm guy goes, are we waiting for your friends? Morris doesn't say anything. And then he goes, man, you two-faced motherfucker. How can you do that? How can you be so friendly and also be such a snake? Morris doesn't say anything. Warm goes, you think they're going to kill me? You know they won't. Not right away. What the Commodore wants is my formula. He wants my invention. Your friends, you know, they're on their way to torture me. Did you know that? And you see Morris's eyes kind of get big, like he didn't know that. He's like, they're going to cut my fingers off. They're going to burn my feet. They're going to gouge my eyes out. They're going to torture me till I talk. You see Morris kind of like, damn, like, because he knows this is true because he's like, damn, this guy is definitely, whatever I got into, this is crazy. And then he goes, are you going to watch Morris? Huh? You going to watch him? You just hear rain outside. You going to write it down in your fucking little book? This world's an abomination. A goddamn abomination. And the guy's crying and he's looking out the window. You see Morris jotting in his journal. It's back to that voiceover of like what he's writing. And he goes, he stopped talking. Didn't say another word after that. He just watched the sunrise through the window. Fades to black. All right. The next day we see Warm wake up. He's not handcuffed. Morris is asleep. He wakes Morris up. Morris wakes all crazy. He's like, good morning. And the guy goes, Warm goes, you sure this is the right thing to do? You don't think you're making a mistake? And Morris goes, probably. Let's go. They leave. Fade to black. So we don't know what happened, but like they're clearly like
buddy now.
He decided to help him.
Yeah. Turncoat.
Cut to the sisters riding across the plain. Dope shots. Eli's looking at us, checking on his horses they're riding, but they're not, you know, they're just going about what they think their mission is, you know? So the brothers, you see, they get to this one like the town nearby, and they talk about how they're going to handle it, right? And, you know, like, hey, Morris is, you know, we've never had a Morris situation before, but we'll handle it like any other job. So the brothers get to town. Charlie's like, Eli, go around back. They get to the hotel where they're supposed to meet up. Charlie heads in. Eli's around the back waiting. Window opens up. Charlie, they're gone. Eli, they're gone. What? They aren't here. Apparently they left 4 days ago.
Damn.
Like, what the fuck? So they go and they read a note. You hear Morris's note. Sorry I had to leave, boys. It was a warm departure. But Warm departed on me and took off, and I lost him. I'm going after him. Charlie's like, I don't believe this pretentious asshole. Fuck this guy. Eli's like, well, look, man, we tried. This isn't our job to go. Yeah. Like, we were supposed to get him from Morris. If Morris didn't get him, that's on him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's get the fuck out of here. Charlie's like, hell no. We're going to find him and get on with it. That's our job. And you see Eli like, oh, but when are we going to get back home? When we're done with the job, Eli. That's when we'll go back home. And he's like, damn, Charlie. And then it's quiet. And then Charlie goes, we wouldn't have been so behind if it wasn't for your goddamn spells and your illnesses. And then Eli goes,
that's really
shitty. Eli goes, it's my fault? What about your constant goddamn drunkenness? You're always drunk, always can't sit up on the saddle, puking on yourself. I'm helping your ass. My spells. And he kind of pushes him like, did you ever say some shit like that to me? You know what I mean? So cut to Morris and Warm. They're having dinner. Warm tells Morris that like this chemical that he uses to find the gold and it's not just to get rich. He's going to start a new society, a better one, based off like trade and good and not just wealth and greed and all this stuff. And he's like, but yeah, whatever. You're doing that just to get gold. Like you're still just getting gold to get rich. So what are you saying? He's like, well, that's how stuff works.
Yeah.
He's like, but I am going to invent a new society and I am going to like change everything for the better. He's like, where are you going to build this new society? And he goes, Dallas.
Oh.
Right? And I'm like, wow, okay. I like how you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Well, I mean, I was hoping he'd be like Wyoming, and I'm like, is this guy Kanye?
So you see Morris listening to Homeboy, and they talk more, right? So Morris, he writes a letter home. Like they decide to go into business together. So he writes a letter home, accepting his father, and because apparently he had like a bad relationship with his father. He talks about it, like, you know, and all this stuff. But like him and Morris kind of talk it out. He gets his inheritance. It's $3,000 sent to this bank in San Francisco, and they're gonna start a company, Warm and Morris.
Okay.
Like, and they're gonna be like gold miners.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go into business together.
Okay.
Okay. Mayfield, California. We see the sisters come into town. They come into a bar, and they start asking the bartender, "Hey, we're looking for a man named Warm. He came in. He's short, dark hair." You know, the bartender's like, "I can't help him." And then Charlie's like, "Oh, well, maybe you saw this other guy. His name is Morris." You know, he describes him. He's like, "No, I haven't seen him either." The sister brothers start getting mad. They're like, "Hey, one of you motherfuckers has seen these, and y'all are gonna say something." You see the owner of the bar come over, and it's this big woman, and she goes, "Hey, I'm Mayfield. Maybe I can help you." And then, you know, Charlie kind of starts making fun of her. And then he says how, you know, we're looking for this man named Warren. He ran out on a debt on our employer. Maybe you've heard of our employer, the Comrade. Well, we're his henchmen. We're his two guys, the Commodore. And we're his two guys, the sister brothers. And then Mayfield goes, "All right, well, I'll help you. Maybe you boys should stay a while." And then he turns around and like Charlie sees all these whores and like all this alcohol. He's like, "Oh, that depends." Right? So Eli gives him shit for saying like, "Yo, man, why do you always have to say that?" He's like, "Say what?" "Say that we're the sister brothers and we work for the Commodore and then we're these, like, why you always gotta like make it a thing, you know?" And then Charlie's like, "I'm proud of who we are. It's not my fault you're not." And they're just arguing, you know?
Damn.
And he's like, "Well, what are you gonna do now? Go get drunk all night? Same shit, fuck a bunch of whores?" He's like, "Man, get out of my face." Cut to, he's watching his brother get shit faced and he's just annoyed. He sees this big girl, this big hooker kind of off on her own, and he goes and talks to her. He whispers in her ear. Cut to John C. Reilly and this big girl hooker. They're upstairs. And he goes, "Hey, can you act like you're giving me this shawl?" And the woman's like, "Do what?" He's like, it's a really valuable object, so can you just give it to me, but say it like with a kind word? Can you do that? And she's like, "Here's this shawl." And he's like, no, like this, right? And he keeps going off on her and like has her like trying to do her this exact specific way. And she's getting more and more like, what the fuck is this, right? And then finally she nails it.
Yeah.
And you see it, like, it tears him up. He's such a good actor. It like tears him up. And then like he goes in and they start kissing passionately. And then the woman starts crying. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. Did I hurt you?" And she says, "God, no, you're gentle and kind. I'm not used to that."
Oh,
and then she goes, bro, the woman's actress is really good. She goes, "Can you please let me go?" And he goes, "No, you don't have to do anything. I'll pay for your company." And then she's like, "Please, no, please, I can't be here. Please let me go." And he's like, "Oh, okay." He's so sweet, John C. Reilly too. You know, he's like, "Of course." You know, because you can tell it's like whatever, like, so whoever gave him this shawl is a woman he actually cares about.
Yeah.
And he just wanted to recreate
that feeling.
And when she nailed it, you see, because at first she's like weirded out, but when she does it, and you see him like break.
Yeah.
You see her like, exactly, like, damn, bro. It's really good acting, Sam, in this movie. It's like really good.
The energy is kind of coming back and forth between them.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. It's just being transferred. So, right when she runs out, she goes, "Be careful." And he goes, "What?" And she goes, "Mayfield." And she closes the door. And he goes, "Oh, shit." So he starts going through all the rooms looking for his brother. He finally finds him. Charlie's fucked up. He's high on some drug, and like some woman is doing like almost like a shadow puppet thing for him. And he's just like,
oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you think he's going to open him or something?
Yeah, for sure. He's like, "Charlie, get up. Get up." And he's like, no. He's like, "Charlie, get up. Charlie, come on. Mom wants you to get up. Mom says, get up right now." He's like, "Oh, shit, Mom." And he gets up, and he's like, "Charlie, look at me. Can you shoot?" And he's like, "Not at my best." And he's like, "All right, well, come on. It's good enough. Let's go." So they get up, and they make it out to their horses. And right when they get out to their horses, there's a bunch of guys out there waiting for them. And Eli's like, and Charlie's kind of mobbed like this. He's like, "I know Mayfield's paying you boys, but we'll pay you more. How about that? We'll double your pay." And then Charlie's like, "Man, fuck Mayfield. That big, dumb bitch, fucking big man, motherfucker. And he's like, Charlie, my brother's drunk. Just how much you want? Just tell us, give us a price and let us go. And then Charlie goes, no, this ain't about money, Eli. And he walks out and towards the guys like sitting there waiting on him. He goes, this is about reputation. They want to be the ones who killed the sister brothers. And then Eli's like, shut up, Charlie. He's like, they want the prestige. He throws up everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Sam, this is his acting. So Joaquin's such a badass. He throws up, and then he looks up and he's like, and then his face goes from like this to
He sobered up.
super serious.
Yeah.
Quick draw. Bam, bam, bam. And like Eli sees it and they kill all these guys super quick.
Isn't it crazy that when you throw up, you can like sober up immediately?
Yo.
Like that's all you needed was to get it out of you.
Because even he said it. I love it. He also was like, yo, I can shoot, but not at my best. And then once he threw up, it was like, all right, I got it. I know he was like, I just needed to talk my way to throwing up.
Yeah.
And then once I did that, I was like, oh, we'll kill these guys. But I thought that shit was badass, just the way like, damn, this nigga's face just went from that to like, oh, y'all fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all fucked up. So cut to, they got Mayfield tied up and she's bleeding out her head. And they find out that Morris is traveling with Warm. Like they find that out from her. Like they left together.
Yeah.
And they're both like,
Huh.
exactly like, huh. How much is this a Western? How this is being like, do you like it?
It's
Like
all
when
dialogue
but I'm saying like, do you like that the plot is like, they've been after these guys this whole time and
Yeah.
then they're also finding out what's going on like a day behind. You know what I mean? Like that plot like that. I love it. Do you
like
like
a
that?
novel.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I do like that.
So that's what I mean. It's like I love those kind of stories when it does feel like a novel. It's this drawn out process, but you know it's going somewhere. But you're like, damn, but I don't know exactly how it's gonna end. You know. So, Charlie looks at Mayfield. He's like, "Now, why you want to kill us?" And then the woman Mayfield doesn't say anything. And he's like, "Well, I'll repeat the question." Then Charlie goes, "I'll repeat the question, and then I'm gonna strike." And then she's like, "Look, I realized Warm had something of value, something crazy of value. So I sent my own men after him to bring him back myself."
Huh.
Right? And then Eli's like, shit. So it's more men on Warm's tail? And he's like, well, thanks for telling us that. Well, Mayfield, you're not going to like what's coming next. But it's the price of messing with our business. Now open your safe. She's like, no, never. Cut to her safe is open and the brothers are going through it. Her brains are just blown out on the floor.
Damn.
They didn't even show. It was also like No Country for Old Men shit.
Do you think they killed her because she wouldn't open it, or she opened it and then they killed her?
Yeah, I like how they let you like however you want it to go down. That's because they still worked. Either way, it's like, hey, bitch, we getting in there and you gonna die.
Damn. Okay.
Don't mess with the Sisters Brothers.
Sisters, brothers.
So when they come outside, the whole town is there, right? Because they're in Mayfield, California. It's named after this person, you know?
Yeah.
And then everybody's looking at him. And then Charlie's like, to Eli, he's like, I think we should say something. And then Eli's like, after a series of dramatic events, well, look, she only had herself to blame. Mayfield's dead. And then his brother, Charlie's like, no, not like that. You got to be more positive. Look, my brother has good news for you people. You can now change the name of your fucking town. Woo! And they ride off. Right? And they just ride off like laughing. You see them riding off. They got all of Mayfield's money and jewels. Their saddlebags are full.
Yeah.
Like they robbed the shit out of this whole town.
Yeah.
Okay? So they make a camp and they talk of how Morris joined the enemy and like how we got to fucking kill this guy, you know? And then the one brother's like, what does he have? Like Eli's like, man, if everybody's after this guy and Morris to switch sides and work with him, like go against the Commodore, like what does this guy have? He must have something. Charlie goes, oh, he's got a formula. And Eli looks over like, what? And Charlie goes, yeah, some kind of chemical product. You pour it in the river and then lights up the gold so you can pick it easy. And he's like, Eli's like, what? And he's like, yeah, Commodore believes in it, so that's what it is. He goes, why are you just now telling me this? He's like, I had orders not to tell you.
Huh.
And Eli's like, fuck you, man. Like what? Anything else you hiding from me? He's like, well, I got another orders that when we get to Warm, we're supposed to get that chemical information out of him by any means necessary. And Eli's like, wait, we're supposed to torture him? And he's like, well, more or less. And Eli is so mad, obviously. Like,
yeah, because he's like,
he's just imagine being sick of it, and then it's just like
it just gets worse.
You're just like, dude, I wanted to go home a while ago.
Yeah, I wanted to find some beautiful lady to impregnate and call it a day.
Oh God,
that was totally what that guy was thinking.
Clearly, what Eli wants. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next day they ride off. They're still looking for the boys, and they make it to San Francisco. Okay, and they're like, holy shit, this place is Babylon. Like, you can't find a quiet spot. They're laughing how funny they can kill anybody they want because there's so many people.
Really?
Like, it's like,
what's it look like?
It looks like San Francisco, like a town just becoming.
Oh wow.
Like, it's that, like the streets are filled. It looks like New York City or something. The streets are filled.
Wow.
But it's buildings and houses and stuff. And they go to some fancy hotel and they stay in it, and they're just blown away. Like, it has a toilet, and they can't believe what a toilet is.
Crazy.
They sit at this fancy dinner and they're all dressed up. And Eli's like, hey, man, to Charlie, why don't we just go home? We can tell the Commodore we never found him. We can just lie and say, Morris and him ran off. We looked for him. We never found him. And it was what it was. And he's like, we don't need, and we can just quit the job. We don't need to work for him anymore. With what we made from Mayfield and what we have back home, we'll be done we're squared away for life.
Yeah.
Because you see how much they got from Mayfield's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they robbed the fuck out of this huge safe, And then he's like, we can finally, maybe go back home, open up a store together. And Charlie gets pissed. A fucking store? What are you talking about? He's like, hey, man, we had a long run. We made it out. We're still alive. Can you believe it after everything we've been through? Which is a good point.
Yeah.
Of like,
let's call it quits before we bust.
Because if you bust in this game,
it's done.
You die.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, Charlie goes off. That's fucking nonsense. Well, you can quit. I'm not fucking quitting. Fucking loser. You go quit. And then Eli's like, what? So if I stop, you're going to continue. And Charlie's like, of course I will. Just need me a new partner. Maybe I'll get Rex. Rex is a talking dog. And he's like, yeah, well, dogs are obedient.
How does a dog talk?
Huh? No, he's like, he's an idiot.
Oh.
Rex is just a talking dog. And that's why he says, well, dogs are obedient. That's a good partner.
That's funny.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, fuck you. And he goes, well, I could ask Sanchez. He goes, you're really going to put your fucking trust in Sanchez or that idiot Rex to protect you, to watch your back? And Charlie's like, oh, protect me? Is that what you've been doing? You think you've been protecting me? Let me tell you something, Eli. We're the sisters, brothers. That's you and me. But you made your decision, and that's fine by me. We'll finish this last job, and then we're parting ways. I'm done with your ass. And Eli, bro, he's such a good actor. He gets all sad, and he's like, why would you say it like that, Charlie? And he's like, what you mean? Why you got to say, like, part ways? Like, we ain't going to see each other no more just because I don't want to do this. Which is like, I get him of like, you know what I mean?
We're still brothers.
It's like, dude, you also, it's like, I get it. It's like, hey, why you overreact? You know what I'm asking you right now.
Yeah.
I'm just done with this.
Uh-huh. I want a different job.
Why can't we still see? I still want to hang out. I clearly still want to hang out with you all the time.
Yeah, we can still do Sunday dinner.
And go horse riding and
whatever they do.
I just don't want to kill people. Please. Please. And then he goes, and he goes, hell no. He goes, no. He's like, we'll still see each other. Whenever I stop by your store to get some shirts or pants, I'll see you then. He goes, man, why are you talking to me like this? And he's like, he doesn't say anything. He goes like, such words for a drunk. And Charlie knocks the table over and whoosh, slaps him. Mm-hmm. And they're staring at each other. And now the whole restaurant's like, oh, shit. Charlie just walks out. Eli just stands there and then he walks away. The next morning, Eli's packing up, right? And Charlie runs up and he's acting like nothing wrong. He's like, hey, brother, what you doing? I got great news. I know where they are. And Eli doesn't say anything. He's like, what, you don't care? What's wrong with you? You don't remember last night? What about last night? When you hit me. I didn't hit you. Oh, you hit me. I did not hit you. You slapped me. You fucking hit me. You did that. Okay, well, yeah, I hit you, man. But, oh, well, I hit you all the time. We always hit each other. You slapped me in public, Charlie. That's not cool. Hit me back. Well, go ahead and hit me. We're even if you just hit me. And then he just turns around. Wow, he slams the shit out of Charlie. Mm-hmm. Like knocks him down. What's your fucking problem, man? I can't hear anything now. God damn. So they laugh. And then he goes, well, look, I found Morris. They're at Folsom Lake. That's where they're heading. Right? And then Charlie's like, he talks Eli into it. Eli's like, all right, let's go. Cut to our boys riding farther to go get him. The sisters come up on these people mining for gold. You see Eli checks his horse. His horse's eye is completely dead now from the bear claw. Remember I told you he got his face fucked up? His eye is just dead. Yeah. And he just feels bad for it. So you see they see where they're at, like where they made their spot. So our boy, like they see where like Morris and Warm are. So they make their camp, right? And they go, oh, we'll get him in the morning. So we see at camp, Charlie's asleep. Eli's got his red scarf that he has, and he's jerking off to it.
Okay.
All right. Morris and Warm are watching over their camp.
Ah.
Right? And Morris is like, well, they got here faster than I thought. And you see our boy Eli jerking off. Morris runs down, jumps him, bam, bam, fucks them both up. All right. You hear, cut to, you see Eli coming to, right? Like he's coming to. And he hears Morris telling Warm how we got to kill them, dispose of their bodies. And you hear, because, the Commodore's going to be like all this shit. And you hear Eli go, we don't work for the Commodore anymore. Bam, he passes back out. Okay. The next morning, they're still alive. And Charlie's like, they're handcuffed though. Charlie's like, damn, what'd you say to him? And he's like, I just told him we didn't work for the Commodore anymore. He's like, and that shit worked? He's like, I guess so. Like, you're a goddamn genius. Like they're talking to each other and shit. And then you see Charlie goes, hey Morris, what you gonna do with us? And you see Morris, cut to Morris talking to Warm. He's like, hey, we're gonna extract the information we can and we're gonna leave him here and we're just gonna let him die. Fuck him. Mm-hmm. And then Warm is like, okay, I guess. Right then, you hear, anyone there? Can you hear me? Remember when Mayfield said she sent some men?
Sent some other men. They're there.
Morris goes, yeah. So you see these men across the river. And they go, hey, we're prospectors. We ran out of supplies. And then Warm's like, you guys don't look like prospectors because they look like cowboys.
Yeah.
And then our boy Morris goes, Hummin, is your gun loaded? And he goes, yeah, my gun's loaded. And he goes, well, take it out, damn it. Hey, go back to where you came from. Morris pulls out his gun. We're not looking, any trouble. Just go back to where you came from. And the guy's like, we really need help. And Morris is like, bam, shootout happens. Bam, 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 bam. They're shooting at each other, right? The sisters are like, Morris, God damn it, let us help. Give us the keys, you fucking idiot. And then Morris is like, here. And he tosses them to Warm. Warm lets them out, right? So right then you hear Charlie. He goes and he grabs his gun. Eli grabs his gun. And he goes, and they go team up with Morris. So now they're all teamed up.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, guys, I don't know if you know this yet. And Charlie's like, Mayfield is dead. And then fucking Eli starts laughing. He's like, Charlie. He's like, I'm just saying, this is for nothing. We killed your boss already. You're not going to get paid for this. And then Eli's laughing. And they keep shooting at him, right? And then Charlie's like, God damn it, I'll deal with it. So he tells them a plan, and you see this nigga go off into the woods, and one by one, just bam, you just hear it. Bam, bam. And then you see one guy like crawling into the river trying to get away, and they walk up on him, and Charlie just bam, blows his brains out too.
Jeez.
Like Charlie's a badass, bro.
Oh, Joaquin.
Joaquin, bro. So
Waka King.
They kill everybody. You see Charlie and Morris have their guns on each other. And then Charlie puts his gun down. And then Morris puts his gun down. Cut to that night, them all deciding to go into the gold business together.
Obviously, this is the right choice.
Did you know that was coming?
Well, I kept thinking that if Eli wanted to get out, and these guys were like seemed pretty like anxious to like have partners.
Yeah.
Both of them were like, yeah.
That is true.
To like get together and work on something. Yeah. Even though like, the only person who has something to offer is really the one guy.
The chemist.
Yeah. So I think it's more of a, he's like, it's good to have some like muscle around.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, also it's just like, you know what? People are going to keep coming after us. Yeah. This is like going to be a problem. It's we have a chemical to find gold. Like this is going to be a problem. We probably, like you said, we need more the merrier. Yeah. So they make a deal. And like Morris kind of doesn't agree with it, but he's like, it's the best decision. So you see them all like hanging out talking. You see our boy Dr. Warm, his legs are fucked up, and he's rubbing this ointment on him, and they're asking him what it is, and he's like, the chemical that you use, because you got to put the chemical in water, and then you have to get in the water. You have to get in the water. And he's like, it fucks you up. But he's like, but this ointment is what I created. It's fine. It works. It's all good. And they're like, all right. And they're like, okay. So the next morning, you see Eli. He's brushing his teeth in the morning, And Morris walks out and he's brushing his teeth. And they look at each other and they're like, huh. Like, yeah, hey, look at us. We're both on this, huh? This old toothbrush. Because it's kind of that look of like,
crazy, right?
yeah, exactly.
I'm sure it's how people feel when they go into someone else's bathroom and there's a squatty potty.
Exactly. That's exactly that, where you're like, this is nuts.
That's crazy. I haven't used a squatty potty.
I use this to poop. It works. And the guy's like, I know, right?
I know.
So the next day, they set up everything to mine for the gold. So what they have to do is they have to build a dam first, right? To stop the water.
Yeah.
To get the water to settle, right? And then when they do that, homeboy goes, once the water settles, we'll bring out the chemical. And they bring out this like chemical. And when they do, like it's in this like wooden barrel, almost like a bottle of wine, like a wine would be. And Charlie's eyes kind of light up like, the fuck is this shit? You know? So that night they all get shit faced together. And the next day, they're just, they're talking. Eli, as everybody's hanging, Eli goes and he notices his horse is dead. Like it just kept getting sicker and sicker and just died, right?
Infection.
So, you see Warm, as Eli's kind of feeling bad for his horse, Warm walks up and they start talking. And he's like, man, he's like, you all right, Eli? And Eli's like, I'm just fucked up. And he starts talking about how violent Charlie is. Like, he's like, how'd you guys get into this? And he's like, oh, my brother's violent. Like, Charlie's real violent. He always has been. He goes, because when you murder someone, people want revenge. But what was I supposed to do? I had to help him. He's my little brother. And then his face gets serious, and he's like, when we were kids, Charlie killed our father. Whoa. And Warm's like, what? He goes, and I'm the older one. Should have been me. And then Warm's like, damn, do you regret that? Yes. After that, he was never the same. So that's why he blames his brother's violent ways on himself.
Whoa.
Because he didn't have the guts to kill their father for being this crazy maniac. Deep, huh?
It's so deep. Also, it just really...
You got to watch this movie. You'd like it.
It just really just brings to light, like, how much we're influenced by, like, having multiple people in, like, small, compact areas.
Absolutely.
And culture, like, condensing like that. Because, I mean, that was probably the norm.
Probably, bro. Golly. So cut to that night. You see Eli cutting his brother's hair like they do. And they start talking about like what they're going to tell the Commodore. Like, he's going to realize we're not coming back at a certain point. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, he's going to send people on our trail. And Charlie keeps saying how we're going to have a season of blood on our hands, and we're going to have to do this, and then eventually, we're going to have to go kill the Commodore, and then after that, and then Eli's just staring at him, and he goes, you going to take his place, huh, Charlie? And Charlie's like, what? He's like, that's your whole plan. You really want to take the Commodore's place. You want to be him. How long you been thinking about this? And Charlie smiles and doesn't say anything. And then Eli just kind of like does one of these, like when you're upset, you rub your brother's head, but you kind of like that, like just
what's wrong with you?
Yeah, and then he just walks off like, you crazy idiot.
Yeah.
Why are you just that? Like, why are you so fucking crazy?
Yeah.
So cut to, you see all the guys rubbing the ointment on their legs. All right. It's nighttime. Warm's like, all right, we're gonna do it, like, because you got to do it at night.
Because of the like glows.
Mm-hmm. He said, so what we do is he pours a little bit of the chemical. They all get a little bucket, and he pours a little bit of the chemical in the bucket, right? And he goes, so what we're going to do, guys, he goes, me and Morris, we're going to get in. They got these huge sticks. He goes, we're going to agitate the water. Once the water's agitated, you get out the buckets and you pour it in. You don't have a moment to lose, all right? Because eventually, it doesn't stay long.
Yeah.
So you got to get as much as you can. They do it. So they go in the water. You see them stir it all up, get it all like kind of going like a hot tub, And then they get out the buckets and they pour it in. They're all waiting. Nothing happens. And they're like, what's going on, Warm? He's like, just wait. Nothing happens. They're like, this motherfucker. Because
well, also, if it doesn't work, it's not like they're kind of used to them. It's like, wow, it's not like the... It's not like he's worth anything to the Commodore either.
No, they were going to just kill him.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work, it's like, oh, this guy just wasted all of our time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work, and they all get mad, and then all of a sudden you go, wait. There. And then you see all the water starts turning real green, and the gold starts getting just real bright from under the water. And they're all like, oh! And they all like start laughing and like screaming, and they're filling their buckets. They're just filling their buckets with gold, right?
Uh-huh.
Warm goes, gentlemen, if it starts to burn, just take a moment, go wash it off, put the ointment on. We'll do it again. It's okay. Like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Don't let it burn you too bad, you know? So you see them all doing it. They all like grabbing gold as much as they can until they're finally like, and then they run, and then they start putting the ointment on their, this part in their legs. And then it's like, they let it, like, it's like some kind of clearly like aloe he made or something. You know what I mean? So, they're all doing it, right? Everybody does it other than Charlie. Charlie is just burning himself, grabbing all the gold he can. Of course
he is.
Because he's crazy. Yeah. And he also, the way you see this gold light up, I mean, it's...
Yeah.
Because you're seeing billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Just, imagine that. Just like billions of dollars. And you're like...
Crazy.
You know? So, I mean, yeah, because it's like, that's the kind of gold you're like, oh, this is eternal wealth. Like, my kids forever are going to be wealthy because they're starting with this.
Yeah.
That is, I can't imagine seeing all that, because it's like, also it's like, yo, this is just the one river we're looking at.
Oh yeah, they could do this every night.
So, and you can also pay other people to do it, so you don't have to do it.
That's true.
You do. I feel like with something like this, you only have to do it. They would only have to do it once before you could pay somebody to do it for the rest of the time.
That's true.
So,
although you don't want too many people to be involved, because then what if they try to kill you for your secret recipe?
Ooh. No, but that's why you hire. You make it a big company.
Yeah.
And you hire like henchmen. You have to do some dirty work.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You'd have to hire some Sister Brothers people.
Yeah, I mean, they do work for you already.
You already got them,
so
they know how to get dirty already.
Yeah, they're dirty dogs.
So Charlie is like, Eli's like, come on, Charlie, come wash that shit off, man. Charlie, and then Charlie's like, oh no, it's going away, and you see like the gold starting, because he said it only lasts for a second. So you see it starting to like go back to fading away, right? Like where you can't see the gold. He's like, it's going away. You can't see him anymore. He's like, and then he runs out and he washes the shit off of him. And then he's sitting there. Morris and Mr. Warm get back in the water to do it again.
Yeah.
Eli gets out of the water. Charlie runs and grabs the whole thing of chemicals.
No.
And Eli's like, Charlie, what are you doing? Charlie! And then everyone yells, and they're like, Charlie, no! And he goes and he drops it in the water.
Why would he do that?
And when he does, it spills all on his arm. Ah! Ah! He's screaming. Ah! And they're all like, no! Bro, and you see Morris and fucking the doctor trying to get out of the water as that shit's just pouring in. And they're like, and it's getting all on him, right?
Yeah.
Ah! Ah! Eli screaming, cut to.
Oh, they just end it like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The next morning, you see Charlie wakes up. One of his arms is completely fucked. Yeah. And I mean, just acidy, right? And the other one, just like his hand a little bit. And he's like, and he crawls over, and you see Morris, Jake Gyllenhaal, laid out on the side of the water. His whole body looks like Homeboy's arm. And he's just like, help me. Help me. Bruh, we see, you see Eli. Eli's the only one who's obviously he's okay because he wasn't in the water. He goes in the tent. Warm is in the tent, right? And he looks even worse than Morris, and he's just like babbling insane shit. Oh, you know what I mean? Eli's just looking at him. Cut back to Charlie's outside, and he's got his hands like this, and he's able to grab his gun, and he throws it on top of Morris. And Morris is like, thank you. And Charlie's like, and he leans forward, and the camera follows him forward, and you just hear, BAM! Eli runs outside and looks. Jake Gyllenhaal's head blown completely off. Killed himself.
And then the other guy is
Eli
insane,
goes back in the
so
tent.
He can't give them the formula.
Yep. Eli goes back in the tent. The other dude, he's dead. Eli can't believe it. He's just like, what the fuck? Charlie's just crying because it's just his fault.
Of course. Oh my God.
So he packs up everything. Eli, he goes through Morris's tent. You know, he gets his journal. Cut to the next day. You see Charlie on a table, like this. His brother Eli holding him down as a doctor saws his arm off. Straight up on some Saw shit, nigga. Just, his face is all pale and shit.
Yeah, because if the infection isn't like,
oh, it's so bad.
It will grow. Oh my god. Oh.
So they saw it off. Eli's just throwing up as they're sawing his brother's arm off. Cut to Eli falls asleep. The doctor comes and wakes him up, and he's like, "Excuse me, sir." He goes, "Yeah, what?" He goes, "Is my brother all right?" He goes, "It's not that. There are 3 men waiting outside in the street for you." He goes, "What?" He looks outside. It's Rex. Remember that Rex guy they talked about? Eli, come on, the Commodore wants to talk to you. The Commodore, like, they weren't gonna be able to get away. Like it ain't over.
Yeah.
You ran away from the Commodore.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, Charlie, get up. Charlie, get up. We gotta go. Charlie's like, no, because he's still fucked up. He's like, shit. So he packs his guns up. This nigga goes out there, no shoes on, bro. The camera stays on Charlie, and you hear bam, bam, shootout, right? And the camera's just on Charlie, who's fucked up. When it goes back outside, the Rex nigga is all fucked up, and you see our boy Eli walking up barefoot on this nigga. Bam! Puts a bullet in his head. Yo, like, John, and then he walks off barefoot.
I don't have time for this shit.
I don't have time for this shit, dog.
Yeah, I just saw a whole future for myself, and then my brother throw it away.
Threw it away.
On some, like, was he even drunk at the time?
No, just on some that
Some
gold,
crazy,
that gold, like.
Oh my god!
You know, you've seen it in a movie where you see something like somebody like a door is closing, but they see a room full of gold. So instead of like everybody else is running out, but they keep packing up.
Yeah.
That look I'm talking about. You see, that's a trope that's been in movies a lot. That he had that look in his eyes. You know. So the next day, bro, they're hiding out from people. You see them in another shootout. Like it's night after, there's like a montage of them like hiding in a shootout. Charlie can't help, and he's yelling at Charlie to go hide the horses, or go hide, do this. And his brother like just feels bad. Cut to them riding in a shootout, horses on their ass. Finally, they find like a safe haven, and he unwraps Charlie's arm. Charlie's crying and screaming, and then Charlie's like, "Yo, I'm no good. And I don't think we should go up north." He's like, "We have to." Eli's like, "We got to go up north now. We got to fucking finish this. There's only one way to." Mm-hmm. He's like, "Oh, but I'm no use to you." And then Eli goes, "Don't worry. In a week, I'll kill the Commodore. Don't worry." So the boys are riding. Some days pass. It's been like 3 or 4 days, but they've just been riding in peace. And it's like the 4th day, and Eli goes, "It's a little strange. It's been like 3 or 4 days since anyone's tried to kill us." And then Charlie's like, "Yeah, I do find that strange." And they keep driving. They get to outside the Commodore's place. Charlie, you see Eli loading up. Charlie tells Eli exactly how to get it into his place, how many people are up the stairs, like everything he's going to have to do to kill him. He's like, all right, the music gets real intense. They load up. They get to the front of the Commodore's place, and the shot is just on them as they're walking up to it, and they're both like so confused. And then Eli puts his guns away, and they're both like, huh. The camera pans around. They're at a funeral. The Commodore died like 3 or 4 days ago.
Whoa.
So they go in, and they're just looking at him, and he's just dead. He's just in a casket. And they're staring at this dead body. And Charlie's like, fuck! What the fuck? Well, you must be disappointed. And Eli's like, yeah, kind of. Charlie's like, fucking. And he turns around and walks off. Eli keeps staring at the body. And then he punches it in the face as hard as he can, like twice. Bam! Bam! And the guy's like, sir! And he's like, just making sure. And then he walks out, right? So the boys go riding off into the beautiful plains. Uh-huh. They come up on a ranch in the middle of nowhere. And a woman has a shotgun and she shoots in the air. And she's like, come in closer and I'll kill you. Mom, it's us. What? Ma, Jesus, it's us. Why are you back here? We're just back here to see you, Ma. If you're here to run or hide from something, get on out of here. I don't want your troubles. Mom, we're just tired. We're just tired, Mom. We want to come home. Please. Super sweet music starts playing. Cut to them all hugging. And the mom's like, you boys smell bad. And they laugh. And then she touches Charlie and she's like, And you're missing something, honey. He's like, I know, Ma. Cut to her like cleaning off Charlie. She's got him in the bathtub. Eli's watching and Charlie's like, it hurts. They're laughing. They eat, our boys eat dinner. Eli goes and he lays down and he falls asleep laughing, smiling. The Sisters Brothers.
Jesus, what a movie.
What an ending, huh?
Oh, yeah, what a way to feel. Like, I feel like I've been through so many, like, hoops and loops and
They
know
Country for Old Men does.
Yeah.
There wasn't a big climactic ending. It just ended.
Yeah, because I think the big climactic ending's coming earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah.
It doesn't. And then the chemical thing happens and you're like, what the fuck? And then there's these shootouts that happen right after that. So you're like, oh, it's building up to this, and then it just ends.
The
and then it just
chemical
ends.
scene.
The chemical scene is crazy because you don't think that's going to be the big. You don't think the movie's building up to that, and that's what it was building up to.
No, I thought that actually when I not up until that point, but as soon as you said that they had little buckets to like pour it in, it was like, oh, something's gonna happen where it all gets in the river. And I didn't think they were gonna die. I just thought they were gonna lose all of the chemical that they had, and then they wouldn't be able to make any money.
No, it kills them, which is even worse. Kills the guy who can make the shit, so it's pointless.
Jesus, what a movie! I do like that it ends happy though. That's
It
very
ends
cute.
happy and sad.
Bittersweet.
It's a bittersweet.
Is it really sad? Because it's like
Eli gets what he wants.
He gets what he wants.
Charlie gets what he deserves, kind of.
Yeah, but also kind of like, okay, so you maim Charlie in a way. So now he has to sort of change his life. He's missing an arm.
Yeah.
So now he's kind of, in some ways, you're kind of relieving him from the kind of life that he was living.
And he does say that at the end when he's telling him to go hide to the horses and all that, like during all the shootouts where Eli's having to do everything.
Yeah.
He does say that at one point. He's like, man, I'm useless. Like, there's no point in me anymore. And that's when he tells him, he's like, don't worry. I'll kill the Commodore. This will all be over. And but that was Eli going like, yeah, dude, it was his right hand. It was a shooting hand. Mm-hmm. So
also, it's nice to think about that they end up going back with their mom because they do bring up the mom a few times. Mm-hmm. And then also, they said that they had enough money with the money they stole from Mayfield to live off of.
And and the gold that they would have gotten from there was some gold.
So,
and I mean, that would have been enough gold to live off and be wealthy forever.
That is kind of a happy ending.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not it's kind of like life. Sometimes you don't get the ending you're hoping for.
That you're hoping, but it's
you
still
get
happy.
A nice ending.
That's what it is. It was still a happy ending, but it was not the ending you saw coming. Yeah. That's for damn sure. Also, I love this movie, just how they draw it out, and then just for Jake, just for those deaths, and you're like, what?
I felt like it was kind of cruel that Jake Gyllenhaal was still alive when Charlie woke up, because obviously Eli has been up this whole time trying to revive the chemist, right?
Who's even more fucked up.
And you would have noticed that Jake Gyllenhaal is like not going to make it. Couldn't you have at least killed him?
Yeah,
that was cruel.
Because the way Charlie hands him the gun, bro, it's so like, I know.
There's no other way out. Like, what are they going to do for him?
Yeah, bro, it ain't. So you either going to die in this horrible agony pain, just writhing in pain while your skin's on fire. I can't imagine, dog. Also, it was their whole bodies too. It wasn't like Homeboy when it was just his arm.
Yeah.
It was their whole bodies.
Yeah, because also imagine your life now is pain. However long you've been sitting there like that has been pain. So the only, even if they told you I can save your life, but you're gonna have to wait like another 7 hours of this.
If that kind of pain, it might be like, yo, I'm done.
No, yeah, I'm out. Because the quickest relief is death.
Yep. And he didn't hesitate, bro. He gave him the gun. He said thank you, and he blew his brains out like that. It wasn't like he made that decision way before he gave him that gun.
Oof. What's a good movie? I liked it.
It's Steve J, huh?
Steve J, good job.
Good job, dude. Sometimes
good choice.
The Bean Mafia comes through.
You guys have been making good choices. I will say that.
Well, Sing Street. If I'm being honest, I like Sing Street.
I like Sing Street too.
A Silent Voice was fucking ridiculous.
I wasn't really crazy about that one.
That one, hey, Will Peacock. Still, everybody's like, what's going on?
I'm still a little broken inside.
Shoutouts. Shoutouts was fun, Darren. Also, I feel like you're crazy. So it's like I do about Will Peacock. It's like, that's crazy. Undercover Brother, amazing choice. I thought that was a great
fun choice.
And then this is our 5th paid for so far.
Mm-hmm. 5th Bean choice.
Sisters Brothers. And this one I put up there. I like this even more than Sing Street because I love Westerns. But I
do
love
love
Sing Street.
Westerns.
Sing Street was really good.
Sing Street was really good. It was. It took me by surprise.
Yeah.
This did too.
This one did too, though. This was awesome, man. Oh my God. But
I love that they send them because I feel like I know a little bit more about them now.
absolutely. Did you have fun, Sam?
I did. Thank you, Steve J.
Thank you, Steve J. Thank you, Bean Mafia. We love you guys, and we'll see you on Monday. Very special episode coming out Monday. I think the OG Beaners are going to be really excited. Really excited. See you guys in a little bit.